Awaiting the news headlines.
I don't want us to have it. I told you where the vehicle is.
The truck was actually coming from Ring Road. It missed a step. So as it was trying to gather itself, it fell.
What we are witnessing these days, it is something we can no longer understand.
They should stop telling us and promising us all those promises are fake, giving us distance of promises are fake. We don't want it anymore.
Now the news headlines. Supreme Court dismissed Aswe Ighodalo's and PDP appeal, affirms Governor Monday Okpebholo's election.
No victor, no vanquish. We are all from Edo State. When I used to grow up, we used to hear that the judges, they are next to God and they are giving their judgments and nothing anyone can do.
They went to court of appeal. We won 5-5. Here again, the Supreme Court 5-5, Alalo. What we have to do is just to thank God that a day like this have come. It's unanimous. They should allow the government to govern.
Benin City residents hail Supreme Court judgment will upheld election victory of Senator Monday Okpebholo.
Today is a beautiful day. Today is a good day in the history of Edo State. And I can say I'm very, very happy for the information that came today that our Senator Monday Okpebholo, the executive governor of Edo State, has become victorious in court case. The Supreme Court.
Wish him all the best. Okay. I think we are expecting much from him. I think at this point he has all the necessary powers to really deliver the ticket of democracy.
Okpebholo should just focus on his office and try and see if he can turn things around for the people of the state.
APC endorses Barrister Omosede Igbenedion as candidate for Ovia Federal Constituency by-elections.
Ovia Southwest and the Ovia Northeast people, Ovia Federal Constituency is taking a stand, and Omosede is the person we gave the slot to.
The party is supreme. Whatever the party has said, that is what we are going to follow. And all of us, we are going to fight behind Omosede.
Good evening and welcome to BeeTv News at 6. My name is God's Gift Omone. Now the news in details. The Supreme Court on Thursday affirmed the election of Governor Monday Okpebholo as the duly elected governor of Edo State. The Supreme Court ruled that PDP failed to prove overvoting, non-compliance with Electoral Act. BeeTv News Best Orator has details.
That That was the mood at the Supreme Court premises in Abuja as leaders, members and supporters of the All Progressives Congress celebrated the judgment of the court. In a unanimous decision by a 5-man panel, the Apex Court dismissed as lacking in merit an appeal the candidate of the PDP, Dr. Aswen Ighodalo, filed to nullify the outcome of the governorship election held in September 2024. According to the Supreme Court, it found no reason to set aside the concurrent judgments of both the Court of Appeal and the Edo State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal, which returned Okpebholo of the All Progressives Congress APC as the valid winner of the gubernatorial contest. It held that the appellant failed to adduce credible and admissible evidence to substantiate his claim that the election was marred by irregularities that included overvoting and substantial non-compliance with the provisions of the Electoral Act. Likewise, it held that the appellant failed to call relevant witnesses to demonstrate some of the evidence the appellant tendered in support of the case, especially the biomodel voter accreditation system BVAS machines. It held that some of the proof of evidence which were tendered from the bar were merely dumped on the tribunal without establishing alleged non-compliance in over 400 out of a total of 4,519 polling units in the state. The Supreme Court said the appellant did not satisfactorily discharge the burden of proof placed on them. The Supreme Court said the appellant called 19 witnesses and only 5 were polling unit agents and did not testify about prior recording or related issues. It said the other 14 witnesses were not polling unit agents who were not close to the polling units during the election, and that PW12, Ose Aneni, who appeared to be the appellant's star witness, never came in contact with documents at the unit levels. The court said the failure to tender voter register and result sheets and open the BVAS machines to prove the overvoting was fatal to the appellant's case. It said the appellant's tendered screenshots, extracts, and BVAS machines as evidence as the document required to prove the case. The court said there is no provision of the Electoral Act to tender the screenshots of BVAS. The Supreme Court said the BVAS machines were barely tendered from the bar without being opened and demonstrated in the open court. The court said the appellants did not satisfactorily prove the case of overvoting and said that the law is settled that the party who challenges an election bears the burden of not only tendering documents but must call credible witnesses to prove the unlawfulness and how it substantially affects the election. The Supreme Court further stated that the law is settled that for the documents tendered from the bar cannot be enough to prove an allegation which is not demonstrated, and it is not the duty of the court to do so. The Supreme Court said the document remains dormant because they should have been properly linked to the overvoting, and maintained that the star witness of the PDP and Aswen Ighodalo, Ose Aneni, did not specifically link each of the documents and prove a table and calculate same to reach the decision to prove overvoting, and that in proving overvoting, the link was missing in the final address of the appellant, and added that the appellants failed to prove 2 grounds of their petition, and thereafter dismissed the appeal, and that parties will bear the cost respectively. Some leaders of the APC, including the State Deputy Governor, Right Honorable Dennis Idahosa, former Deputy Governor of Edo State, Right Honorable Comrade Philip Shuaibu, State Secretary of APC, Engineer Lawrence Oka, Senator representing Edo South Senatorial District, Senator Neda Imaswen, former Senator representing Edo South Senatorial District, Senator Matthew Uruhide, member representing Esa Northeast and Esa Southeast Federal Constituency, Honorable Prince Henry Odianose Okoje, and others hailed the Supreme Court judgment.
Now that the case is over, we thank everybody, but most importantly, we want to go back to build our state, to unite everybody in line with what the governor believed in. He wants to bring everybody, regardless of your political party, wants to bring everybody together for the interests of Edo people.
So as far as this judgment is concerned, for me, I'm vindicated. And July has become a favorite month for me. I won my reinstatement in July. When I was impeached, my judgment was in July. Today, another judgment, a landmark judgment on behalf of all of us in Edo again in July. So July has become my favorite month.
Having won at the election, 21st September, they were not successful. They went and challenged on the tribunal. We won 3/3. They went to Court of Appeal. We won 5/5. Here again, the Supreme Court, 5/5, Alalo. What we had to do, just to thank God that a day like this have come, is unanimous. They should allow the governor to govern. They just came to court to waste our precious time and the precious time of the government. People of Edo have spoken on 24th September. Because of the kind of money and resources they have, they decided to go to court. thank God the court have decided.
Okay, your call for the PDP, sir. Now that you have won, sir.
They should join us. In any case, they don't have a party again. There's no party PDP.
Well, I'm grateful to God and to the judiciary for doing the right thing. As you witnessed, it was 2 hours of judgment. And the Supreme Court went through all the issues before that, and they found all incompetent, and so the matter is struck out. So give thanks to God to allow His Excellency Governor Okpebholo to continue the good things that he's doing already in the state.
Congratulations to His Excellency. His Excellency
For me, no victor, no vanquish. We are all from Edo State. When I used to grow up, we used to hear that the judges, they are next to God and they are giving their judgments and nothing anyone can do. It's for us all to go back home as Edo people to support the governor to make sure we build Edo.
We give glory to God for this judgment. Eventually, this whole matter has, been put to rest, and I believe that all of us who are from Edo State should join hands together, both those that lost at the Supreme Court and those of us that won here. We still believe that there is no victor, there is no vanquished. We are all the same. Let us join hands in building our state. Join the governor, Senator Monday Okpebholo, to build our state.
Dr. Aswan Ighodalo and the appeal marks SC/CV/3/536/2025 prayed the court to invalidate the May 29 verdict of the Court of Appeal, which dismissed his case and affirmed Okpebholo's victory. The PDP candidate maintained that the appellant court failed to properly evaluate the case he brought to challenge the outcome of the poll, which he insisted was not conducted with substantial compliance supervisions of the Electoral Act. The Supreme Court had on July 2nd reserved its judgment after all the parties adopted their final briefs of argument. While the appellant, the PDP urged the court to upturn the subsisting judgment and declared that Aswan Ighodalo secured the highest number of valid votes and therefore ought to be declared the winner of the election. On the other hand, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Governor Monday Okpebholo, the APC, persuaded the court to dismiss the appeal and uphold the result of the election. A three-man panel of the appeal court led by Justice M.A. Danjuma had declined to nullify Governor Okpebholo's election. The appellant court upheld the May judgment of the tribunal, which invalidates the result of the election announced by INEC. The Justice Wilfred Kpochi-led three-man panel tribunal had dismissed petitions that were lodged against Governor Okpebholo by the PDP and its candidates, the Action Alliance, and its national chairman, Adekunle Rufai Omoja, as well as a case that was brought before it by the Accord Party and its candidate, Dr. Bright in Abulele. It will be recalled that INEC had declared that Okpebholo of the APC secured a total of 291,667 votes to defeat his closest rival, Aswan Ighodalo of the PDP, who garnered 247,655 votes. Dissatisfied with the results, the petitioners approached the tribunal alleging that the election was not conducted in substantial compliance with the provisions of the Electoral Act 2022 as amended. It was equally the contention of the petitioners that INEC failed to serialize and pre-record some of the sensitive materials that were deployed for the poll, a situation they said aided the ringing of the election in favor of the APC and its candidates. Among the SDPs, the petitioner tendered before the tribunal included a total of 153 biomodel voter accreditation system BVAS machines that were used in 133 polling units. It held that the onus of proving that Governor Okpebholo was unduly returned by INEC rested squarely on the petitioners. The tribunal stressed that the PDP and its candidates merely dumped exhibits before it without demonstrating them through competent witnesses as required by law. It held that most of the witnesses who testified for the petitions gave hearsay evidence, stressing that failure to produce polling unit agents, presiding officers, or voters who participated in the election to testify proved fatal to the case of the petitioner. Following the affirmation of the judgment by the appellant court, Ighodalo took the case before the Supreme Court, where he also lost. Some leaders of the APC, who include the Deputy Speaker of Edo State House of Assembly, Honorable Samoyi Atu, the State Secretary of APC, Engineer Lawrence Oka, and others in Abuja, are celebrating the victory of Governor Monday Okpebholo. Counting from September 21st, 2024 to July 10, 2025 is almost 10 months that Senator Monday Okpebholo was declared as the winner of the election. Not satisfied, the PDP and its candidate, Dr. Aswan Ighodalo, proceeded to the tribunal, to Court of Appeal, and now to the Supreme Court. Having delivered judgment in favor of the incumbent governor, Senator Monday Okpebholo, everyone is urging the governor to continue to hit the ground running, same way he has started after he was sworn in, and deliver the dividends of democracy to the doorstep of every Edo man and woman. The matter has ended with this judgment at the Supreme Court being the final destination. From the Supreme Court here in Abuja, Best Orator reporting for BeeTv News.
The 2024 governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party in the Edo State elections, Dr. Aswe Ighodalo, said he accepted the finality of the Supreme Court's judgment and said what was delivered amounts to justice. Aswe said what happened in the September 2024 governorship election was not a contest, it was an alleged robbery and now, tragically, validated by the highest court in the land. He noted that while he will not and cannot obstruct any judicial pronouncement, no matter how flawed, he will never fear to speak truth to power. Aswe Ighodalo said he feels a deep sense of betrayal, not just by those who allegedly rigged the process, but by the very institutions they trusted to protect Nigerians' democracy. He said to every young person who saw in this moment the birth of a new Edo, to every elder who longed to see Edo State rise again, to every woman and man who prayed, campaigned and voted that they may not have won the office, but they want something greater because they discovered their collective strength. He concluded by calling on those who now hold power to lead with humility and govern with conscience. The Edo State chapter of the People's Democratic Party Working Caretaker Committee have extended profound gratitude to all dedicated members, supporters and stakeholders for their unwavering support, commitment, sacrifices and resilience in advancing the ideas of the great party. The party, while reacting to the judgment of the Supreme Court that struck out the PDP's case, challenging the outcome of the September 21st, 2024 gubernatorial election, said they respect the decision of the Apex Court and urge all party faithfuls and the good people of Edo State to remain calm, steadfast, and forward-looking. The chairman Edo State PDP Working Caretaker Committee said the moment calls for reflection, unity, and a renewed determination to rebuild and strengthen the party for the task ahead. It stated that in the spirit of democracy and statesmanship, they congratulate His Excellency Senator Monday Okpebholo, the Governor of Edo State, and reaffirmed their commitment to constructive engagement in the pursuit of good governance. Ogivia said their approach would be guided by maturity, patriotism, and an unwavering focus on policies that uplift the lives of Edo citizens. They called on the resilient people of Edo State, residents, stakeholders, and well-wishers to continue to collaborate in building a prosperous, inclusive, and thriving state, and that together they shall surmount challenges and forge a future defined by peace, development, and shared opportunity. Residents in Benin City have congratulated Governor Monday Okpebholo on his resounding victory over the candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Dr. Aswe Ighodalo, at the Supreme Court. They described the victory as victory for the state and encouraged the governor to focus on developing the state, not just as he has started already. BeeTv News Freeman Osawe has the report.
The Supreme Court judgment of Femi Senator Monday Okpebholo as the duly elected governor of Edo State was met with joyful expression from residents in Edo State. Residents congratulated the governor on his victory at the Supreme Court, describing it as victory for the state, urging the governor to now focus more without distraction in carrying out more dividends of democracy, just as he is already doing across the state, in initiating laudable projects such as road construction, school rehabilitation, and also mechanized agricultural practice in the Tiri senatorial district of the state.
Today is a beautiful day. Today is a good day in the history of Edo State, and I can say I'm very, very happy for the information that came today that our Senator Monday Okpebholo the executive governor of Edo State, has become victorious in court case. The Supreme Court, they give him the verdict today, they give him the judgment today.
First, how to congratulate the governor for the victory over the election. It is down, the ball is down, it's hot. I don't know what to do. As a part of his responsibility to the state.
The respondent also appealed to the governor to govern the state for the benefit of all, irrespective of party affiliations, so as to foster unity in the state.
Now, I think it doesn't have any issue anymore. The matter of court has been settled. I think he should now focus on the dividend of democracy, all the promises he's made to the Edolite, the electorate. He should focus on them, and he should also try and appoint all his commissioners now, and his board, director of boards, different boards. He should focus on the development.
Wish him all the best. I think we are expecting much from him. I think at this point he has all the necessary powers to really deliver the ticket of democracy.
Okpebolo should just focus on his office and try and see if he can turn things around for the people of the state in a very satisfying way, because right now he has a lot of things to do.
Senator Monday Okpebolo had earlier been declared the winner of the Edo State governorship election at the tribunal before the appeal court affirmed the decision of the tribunal, and now the Supreme Court has also upheld the decisions of the lower court. Freeman Usawe reporting for BeeTv News.
The Federal Capital Territory Minister Nyesom Wike has hailed the Supreme Court judgment which affirmed the victory of the Edo State Governor Monday Okpebolo in the last governorship elections in the state. Wike, who urged the governor to remain focused, said he should see the victory as a further call to selfless service to the people of Edo State. In a statement on Thursday by Wike's media aide, Lire Olayinka, the FCT minister described the Supreme Court judgment as final confirmation of the mandate freely given to the governor by the people of Edo State, while urging the People's Democratic Party's candidate Aswerime Ighodalo to join hands with Governor Okpebolo to develop Edo State. The FCT minister said, now that a final answer has been provided as to the question of who actually won the governorship elections, it beholds on all opponents of the governor to, in the collective interest of Edo State, to join hands with Okpebolo. Ahead of the forthcoming by-elections in Edo State, the All Progressive Congress has endorsed Honorable Barrister Omosede Gabriela Igbenidion as its flag bearer to represent the people of Ovia Federal Constituency at the Federal House of Representatives. Honorable Omosede Igbenidion received the endorsement from party officials of the APC in Ovia, including the Deputy Governor of Edo State, Right Honorable Dennis Idahosa. The report is presented by Best Orator.
The leadership of the All Progressives Congress has officially endorsed Honorable Barrister Gabriela Omosede Igbenidion as its candidate for the upcoming House of Representatives by-election into Ovia Federal Constituency. The endorsement came during a joint peace and strategic meeting held at the Council Hall in Igwabazua, Ovia Southwest local government area. The meeting, presided over by Edo State Deputy Governor Right Honorable Dennis Idahosa, brought together party leaders, ward and youth representatives, and local government chairmen from both Ovia Southwest and Ovia Northeast local government area. Idahosa emphasized unity, urging members to rise above personal interests and support the party's collective goal. The endorsement received overwhelming backing from representatives across all 23 wards in the constituency.
We have also agreed, and we have appealed to all the contestants not to waste money in buying forms. Ovia has spoken. We, with the support of all the leaders here present, we are going to deliver Gabriela Igbenidion Omosede in Ovia Federal Constituency.
The Deputy Deputy Governor of Edo State, Right Honorable Dennis Idahosa, who is also a former occupant of the seat, reaffirmed the APC's commitment to reclaiming and retaining the constituency. He stressed the importance of unity and decisive leadership in securing victory. He noted that Honorable Omosede Gabriela Igbinedion's adoption was the result of internal consensus and a demonstration of the party's readiness to support inclusive representation.
We will not waste money in primaries. Ovia has spoken, and we will be working towards the general election. And today, I want to profoundly thank the leadership of Ovia Federal Constituency for making this decision. There was no external interference. It was the decision of Ovia people. Am I not happy?
Party leaders from Ovia Southwest and Ovia Northeast acknowledged the supremacy of the party and pledged their support for its choice. In a remark, Honorable Barrister Omosede Gabriela Igbinedion thanked the party leadership and members for their support. She emphasized that the seat belongs to the people of Ovia and expressed her commitment to inclusive and people-oriented representation.
And I believe nobody here will let him down. This seat, the Ovia Federal Constituency seat, is for all of you. It is not a seat for Omosede Igbinedion. It is a seat for the people of Ovia Federal Constituency. It is a seat for the APC. So it is very important that we unite together to ensure that we have victory for the upcoming election.
The APC chairman of Ovia Northeast, Odemige Solomon, and Ovia Southwest, Emmanuel Ogbomo, described the endorsement as a welcome development and a positive step towards party unity and progress in the constituency.
The truth of the matter, the party is supreme. Whatever the party has said, that is what we are going to follow. And all of us, we are going to fight behind Omosede for him to achieve success in this election.
The Ovia Southwest and the Ovia Northeast people, Ovia Federal Constituency is taking a stand. And Omosede is the person we gave the slot to represent Ovia Federal Constituency. It's a welcome development.
Best Orator reporting for BeeTv News.
The Federal High Court in Benin City on Thursday adjourned the case for hearing involving the removal of His Royal Majesty Dr. George Oshapi Egabo, the Okumagbe of Uwanu Kingdom in Esako East local government area by the Edo State government to October 2nd, 2025. The adjournment follows the absence of the defendants and the request by the State Government Council for more time to study the case.
On the 30th of April 2025, Dr. George Osakbi Egabo, the Okumagbe of Uwano Kingdom in Esako East local government area, was allegedly removed by the Edo State government as the traditional ruler of the community, prompting him to approach the Federal High Court citing unlawful removal. At the resumption of hearing on Thursday at the Federal High Court 4, the State and Claimant Council were present, but the defendants in the case, including the Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, and Commissioner of Police, were absent. The State Council submitted a counter affidavit, and the Claimant Council, Clement Owewunu, SAN, responded to the counter affidavit. However, the State Council requested an adjournment to review the affidavit, which prompted the Claimant Council to question the absence of the third and fourth defendant. The Claimant Council, Clement Owewunu, SAN, urged the court to expedite the case and prayed that status quo should remain and that Dr. George Osakbi Egabo should remain as the traditional ruler of Umano Kingdom until the defendant appear and judgment is passed, arguing that his removal was unlawful due to lack of fair hearing. The court, however, granted the State Council request for additional time to review the document and adjourned the case for hearing to October 2nd, 2025, citing the need for all parties to be present. In an interview with journalists, the counsel to the claimant, Clement Onwewunu, SAN, commented on the adjournment of hearing and expressed optimism for a smooth hearing at the next sitting.
We were ready to go on, but the state served us what we call counter affidavit just this morning. But because we were prepared for this case, we had to do everything we could to respond to those two counter affidavits. And I'm pleased to inform you that we responded to those counter affidavits when we served. We had to go back, and that's why this matter couldn't go on as early as 9 o'clock that we're supposed to have started. So that is what happened, and we told the court we're ready to go on. But the state wanted an adjournment that they needed to see, to look at what we have deposed to in our further affidavit, and we opposed it that no, you were supposed to have served us these processes a long time ago, but you did not. And now you served and we responded that the matter was set for hearing. But you could see what the court was looking at, that we needed to carry everybody along, and that the third and fourth defendants were not in court, and that he wanted particularly the CP that extracted an undertaking from the claimant to be in court. But on the second time, when she looked at the undertaking as we exhibited, she now discovered that it wasn't the CP that actually extracted that undertaking, but one of his officers, or even though he was copied. And it was very clear, our position before this court this morning is very clear, that the law had been relied upon by the State Executive Council in suspending or removing the claimant as the Okumagbe of Wano Kingdom, a throne he had occupied for the past 23 years without a hearing, cannot stand in the face of our Constitution. That Section 36 of our Constitution, if you make any allegation of crime against anybody, or any allegation at all against anybody, that before you take any action against him, you must offer him an opportunity to be heard. In this case, Okumagbe was not asked any question. Okumagbe was not queried by anybody. Nobody alleged anything against him. But the state is saying that on Section 28 of the Traditional Rulers Edict of 1979, made by the military, that they could remove any traditional ruler without any inquiry, without any investigation, without granting the person fair hearing. That is what we have told the court this morning, that that law cannot stand on the face of our Constitution, that law is antiquated, that law was meant for the military, and the military had long gone, and that a progressive state like Edo State shouldn't be seen projecting that kind of law when we're not in a banana republic, that there is no justification whatsoever under a democracy that a state government should say they can take any action, take any adverse action against anyone without granting that person at least fair hearing.
Meanwhile, comment could not be obtained from the State Council as she left immediately after the adjournment to October 2nd, 2025. Sarogie Agwebo reporting for BeeTv News.
Recently, the Edo State government, through the Office of the First Lady, in collaboration with the Ministry for Health, led an autism awareness and sensitization campaign aimed at dispelling misconceptions and fostering inclusivity for individuals with autism in the state. The reports. At the event themed Advancing Neurodiversity and the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, held at the new festival hall, the coordinator office of the First Lady, Mrs. Edesili Okpebolo Anani, reiterated the state's government's commitment to supporting individuals with autism through funding, policy initiatives, amongst others. She called for a society that promotes inclusivity and provides a comfortable environment for concerned individuals to thrive. According to Mrs. Anani, Senator Monday Okpebolo, Governor of Edo State, has pledged to increase funding and policy support to strengthen diagnostic, therapeutic, and educational services for children and adults on the spectrum. Neurodiversity is a beautiful testament to human uniqueness, and every individual deserves the opportunity to excel. Many individuals with autism face discrimination in accessing quality education, healthcare, employment, and social acceptance. It is essential that they work together to create a society where every individual has the opportunity to thrive.
I want to give special honor and recognition to the governor of Edo State, because when this project was brought to him, he didn't hesitate, because he knew that these children are special to us. They are children that have been given to us by God, and we must do our part to take care of them. It is our responsibility as a state to create the environment for these children to reach their full potential. So I thank His Excellency, the Governor of Edo State, distinguished Senator Monday Okwebolo, for always being there anytime we call on him. As we strive to achieve the SDG goals, especially SDG 4 and 8, which covers access to quality education and economic opportunities for all, we must prioritize inclusive and support for individuals living with autism. Neurodiversity is a beautiful testament to human uniqueness, and every individual deserves the opportunity to excel.
Mrs. Anani urged stakeholders to join efforts in raising awareness about autism and providing meaningful support to affected individuals, saying, "I urge all Edo residents to join me in embracing neurodiversity and promoting a society that values diversity and inclusivity."
It is essential that we work together to create a society where every individual has the opportunity to thrive. We are here today to advocate for inclusion, support, and acceptance of individuals with autism. Let us provide them with the necessary resource and care to reach their full potential. By doing so, we can build a more inclusive and sustainable society for all.
The Commissioner for Health, Dr. Siri Adams Oshomole, while advocating inclusion for autistic individuals, dispelled common mythology about autism, emphasizing that it is neither a disease nor a spiritual issue. In his words, autism is not a disease. It is not caused by bad parenting. It is not a spiritual cause. It is a neurodevelopmental condition, and people with autism have the capacity to live fulfilling and productive lives when given the chance. We must challenge stigma wherever we see it, in our communities, in our workplaces, and even within ourselves. Let us promote acceptance, not pity, inclusion, not tolerance. Dr. Oshomole, expanding on the campaign scope, noted that it is not just about awareness, but also about providing meaningful support and creating inclusive environments. He stated it is about changing attitudes, promoting inclusion, and building support systems that allows every child, irrespective of where they fall on the spectrum, to thrive, to dream, and to live a life of dignity and purpose.
We come from a culture in which people believe that autistic children are either demonic, or some of them term them as ogbanje or possessed. But I want to change the mindset of our people. We've seen great scientists of our generation and even past generation who are with their creative mind, even with the fact that they are autistic, have done great things in this generation. Even as we speak, there are scientists who are autistic, who are very wealthy, who have become employers of labor, who have become captives of industry. But we live in a country in where most of our autistic children are kept in their homes and making them, so to say, looking useless. But we want people to understand that these people have their certain ability. We are looking at them from the lens of their extraordinary ability.
Some parents commended the governor, Senator Okwebolo, led government for the initiative, expressing gratitude and urging its sustainability. The program featured musical and drama performances, poetry recitations, and art exhibitions from special needs children of the Salem Montessori Special Needs School, Project Cherry Love, amongst others. It also included discussions on speech therapy, occupational therapy, autism nutrition, amongst others. The highlight of the events was an auction of the students' artworks, testifying to their unique abilities. Gosgift Omone reporting for BeeTv News. In a move to strengthen the motivation and commitment to house duties, The Edo State House of Assembly Service Commission promotional exercise held at the Legislative Quarters Ihama enters its day 2 exercise as staff members were on ground to be screened for their promotion according to their various departments. The report.
The Edo State House of Assembly Service Commission's promotional exercise entered into its second day with stakeholders and senior officers present at the panel. The day's activities were divided into 2 main sections, accreditation and screening. At the accreditation session, representatives from various departments including work, legal, accounting, information and communication technology, ICT, amongst others, were on ground. Their role was to verify the eligibility of staff members and accredit them before they proceeded to the screening session. In a welcome address, Honorable Reginald Okud extended congratulations to staff members deemed qualified for promotion, encouraging them to uphold their commendable work ethic, integrity, and commitment.
Today, it's a promotion exercise, and because we want to go through, it's going to be very good. Just 6 steps, very quick 6 steps. So the staff will put you through how to move from one step to the other, so there's no tension. So thank you for coming, and we'll see you upstairs.
Presiding over the screening was the Commission Chairman, Honorable Sir M.D. Ibas, represented by Honorable Reginald Oku.
Technical assistance to departments, units within the establishment, give support to departments, units, maintenance of hardware and software.
Speaking in an interview, the chairman, Honorable Sir Ezei Ibas and Honorable Reginald Okun, said the purpose of the exercise is to advance qualified personnel as a recognition of their wavering commitment, resilience and dedication to their responsibilities. Although they acknowledge the presence of some minor irregularities during the process, they underscore that the exercise was conducted in a strict adherence to the prescribed regulations.
The truth is that the staff of the Edo State House of Assembly as a whole, they are very responsive and responsible staff. We've not really had bad situation. It's all been very well, and ours is just to encourage them to do more for the system.
The exercise is an in-house exercise. Nobody should panic. We come here, we have fun, talk to them, even ask them questions where we can actually help them improve their job. So if they tell us, and we'll go into an executive section to try and rectify those itches that might cause them a bit of problem doing their job. So that's just about it. So for those that didn't show up today, we only had about 2 people that didn't show up today, and those 2 people, both of them are in the hospital. So we've taken them, we've seen they're actually in the hospital, and there's nothing to it. So once they come, once we notice that there's a problem, we must ask and investigate why they didn't come up for their promotion, because it's very unusual. People come for their promotion. If you don't come, then it means there's a very serious problem.
Some of those promoted appreciated God for the opportunity and commended the Commission for our efficient and seamless exercise.
It was, a little bit seamless, although I was a little bit tensed, but because it's my first time, but it was seamless, and it was they did a very good job, and I commend the Commission and everybody, the members, the secretary, and everybody. So I commend them.
If you're sure what they are going to ask you, then you can say, okay, it's a walk in the park. A lot of people sitting there, and you're being asked, no. You have that kind of, okay, what's not really, I won't say tension, but you really want to look forward to doing better. They should keep it up, and thank you.
I thank God for promoting me from this level to the next level, and I ask for God's protection to take me to the next level.
The Edo State House of Assembly Service Commission is a body which caters for the staff members of the House of Assembly under the chairmanship of Honorable Ezei M.D. Ibas Osarogie Agwebo, reporting for BeeTv News.
Rejected the new ward allocation by the Independent National Electoral Commission. describing it as unfair, politically driven, and inconsistent with the Commission's own guidelines. The report. At a press briefing held in the community, the leaders condemned the allocation of only 2 out of 19 wards in the local government area of Tidor, despite the community hosting major oil sites and accounting for approximately 40% of the local government population and landmass. The leaders also alleged that polling units in several well-established communities were deliberately suppressed in the INEC ward delineation. Additionally, they pointed to the insertion of fictitious settlements on the electoral map, moves they believe are calculated to undermine Tidor's political relevance.
INEC arrived at the decision to allocate only 2 wards to registration area and electoral wards to Ogbejon Kingdom, and at the same time allocated 9 and 5 registration area to electoral ward to Gbaramatu and the Isekiri communities, respectively, that are not populated than Ogbejon. The process of addressing complaints arising from the field work is still being controlled by same persons who carried out the injustice in the first place.
Community representatives are demanding that INEC reverse the current allocation, citing violations of fairness and due process. They urge the electoral body to re-engage the original field officials who conducted the preliminary ward survey. Furthermore, they appealed to both the federal government and the National Security Advisor to intervene and ensure justice is served.
The electoral areas that were denominated and what was allocated to Ogbejon does not reflect the actual field work. It is our politicians from Warri Southwest that are suppressing what is actually supposed to be the field work.
In a more forceful tone, the Ijaw Youth President, along with other community leaders, issued a stern warning that if their demands are ignored, the kingdom will not hesitate to shut down all oil and gas operations within its territory.
Ogbejon that you are seeing, this kingdom, we are producing over 100,000 barrels per day. Just to tell you that there's a huge amount that's going to the federal coffers in this country. We want to say that if this is not being done, as Ogbejon people, we will shut down every oil wells in our kingdom.
If it continues like this, we will make sure that we will deprive Nigeria from benefiting. If they fail to give us what is due to us, we're going to deprive them by shutting down all the oil installation, gas installation that is in our land of Ogbejon Kingdom.
The oil-rich kingdom is demanding the creation of 8 electoral wards to reflect its size, resource contribution, and population. Leaders say failure to meet the demands will be met with decisive action, including disruption of crude oil production in the area. Gosgift Omone reporting for BeeTv News. The National Emergency Management Agency has commenced a damage assessment and relief planning mission to Kogi State following recent flash floods that affected communities in the Kaba-Ponu local government area of the state. The report.
The assessment visit began with a courtesy call on the Obero of Kaba, Oba Solomon, before the delegation proceeded on an inspection tour of flood-hit communities. The flood caused extensive damage to residential structures and farmlands, displacing families and destroying property. Leading the delegation was the head of NEMA's Abuja Operations Office. During the visit, the agency assured residents of coordinated relief efforts and emphasized the need for people in high-risk areas to relocate to safer zones to mitigate further loss.
If you look at many of the houses here, they are built on floodplain. My team and I, together with SEMA, we are going to collect the data on the number of people displaced, houses affected, houses completely or partially brought down, and also the farmland that have been affected by this flooding.
Officials from the Kaba-Bunu local government area and the Kogi State Emergency Management Agency stated that investigations into the root causes of the flood are underway. They also indicated that proactive measures would be introduced to prevent future occurrences.
Our own prayer will be in 2 phases. One that is immediate. Those who are victims, their property, their means of livelihood
were equally destroyed. And the one that is permanent, in putting us together, the think tank, to analyze the situation, what led to this flooding, and control it.
We are paid to do this job, and we will try to do it to the best of our ability. Very, very soon, the victims are going to hear from the state government. Recently, we heard ACRESA were here, Ministry of Environment, they were here. We're all going to put our heads together to see that we put a permanent solution to what has happened in Kabak.
So since that on Saturday now, I'm sleeping with another person, with my daughter, and my daughter is not well.
All those our goods, our mattress, everything is spoiled. I don't even.
Meanwhile, affected residents are struggling to recover and rebuild amid the destruction. Many continue to rely on humanitarian assistance while hoping for sustained support and long-term solutions. Usarogi Agwebo reporting for BeeTv News.
The 2025 Nigerian Energy Forum marks its 10th anniversary. Efforts to expand energy access, promote inclusive policies, and drive energy sector diversification. The report. The forum hosts energy experts, innovators, business leaders, and policy makers. The focus on strategic partnerships to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and increase clean energy and adoption.
It is the need of the oil and gas industry.
The event features display of clean energy technologies, discussions, highlights the role of innovation in achieving energy transition and economic growth.
The Nigeria Energy Forum has evolved over the last 10 years into a hub of action, converting gatherings and convenings into real capital.
Experts stress the need for effective policy and regulatory structures. The forum emphasizes increased funding for clean energy development and industrialization.
If we're trying to industrialize, then all efforts to industrialize exist in a context. So there's a policy context for it. So what do we need to increase that level of industrialization, that level of production of commercial energy products?
Critical minerals is very, very key. And all those critical minerals we are talking about globally, Nigeria has it. And that is why with the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, with his renewed hope agenda, has been able to now ensure the diversity that we have and ensure that we are able to now develop our sector.
Say to the young innovators is that once you have the idea, don't keep quiet, don't bury it, make it come alive, give it life, and start experimenting. Don't stop. Even when you think the experiment has failed in a particular direction, don't stop.
The Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board supports the call for clear policies. It underscores the role of regulatory clarity in the power sector, reform and transition efforts.
NCDMB is currently involved in various projects and strategic investments aimed at catalyzing gas development, gas utilization, as well as commercialization and industrialization.
The NEF outlines plans for human capital development. The forum targets training and development of future energy engineers to support the clean energy shift. Gosgift Omone reporting for BeeTv News. In a move aimed at promoting financial accountability amongst public office holders, a coalition of public interest lawyers have submitted a petition to the leadership of the National Assembly calling for the immediate dismissal, investigation, and prosecution of Farouk Ahmed, the managing director of the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority. The petition addressed to the House of Representatives accuses Ahmed of gross misappropriation of public funds, conflict of interest, and abuse of office. Among the key allegations outlined in the petition is the diversion of over $5 million in public funds to sponsor the private foreign education of his 4 children, an act the petitioners described as a serious violation of public trust and the relation of official duty. The lawyers warned that Ahmed's continued leadership poses a threat to transparency, accountability, and the ongoing reform efforts in Nigeria's petroleum sector. According to the petition, the gravity of the allegations demands swift legislative action to restore public confidence and uphold institutional integrity.
Allegations cannot be sustained, then he can still remain in office. However, there are sundry allegations on the strength of different CSOs who have submitted petitions on this matter. And it's not something you just can't just overlook and say, because we are in a system of governance whereby the president has stressed it that it must be corruption-free, in line with the president's illustrious call for the corruption-free matter of our Nigerian society. We must do things to get an egalitarian society, a society that is free of any issues as to fraud. There cannot be this allegation, and people should just no. It is not. That is not how a progressive society should be.
We are calling on the relevant agencies. We are calling on the Senate to be transparent, to cause a discreet investigation into the allegations, and in doing that, what we want is transparency. What we want is fairness. What are we simply saying? Our petition is strictly on ground of accountability. We want the relevant authority. We want Mr. Ahmed Farouk to be accountable. Nigerians we furnished Nigerians with the petition. It was all over the media. And what we are simply saying is that there are allegations of abuse of office. There are allegations of conflict of interest. There are allegations of misappropriation of funds to the tune of over $5 million.
Now, the Nigerian Senate has charged its joint committees on capital markets, banking and insurance, security and other financial institutions, anti-corruption and financial crime to conduct comprehensive investigative hearing, including public hearing on the operations of Ponzi schemes in Nigeria. The upper chamber further tasked the committees on the need to educate the Nigerian public, especially the investing public, amongst others, on the matters and report back in 4 weeks. This directive followed the debate on the investigative hearing into the operations of the Ponzi schemes in Nigeria, with particular reference to the recent crypto bullion exchange, CBEX incident led by Senator representing Lagos East, Abiru Adetokunbo. On his part, the Senate President Godswill Akpabio described the effects of the fraudulent Ponzi schemes on not only the people, but the economy of the country, emphasizing that the investigative public hearing was apt and necessary.
Alarming rise of unregulated and fraudulent investment schemes, commonly known as Ponzi or pyramid schemes, such as MMM Nigeria in 2016, MBA Forex in 2020, to mention a few, which have repeatedly defrauded millions of Nigerians, causing severe financial hardship and, in some cases, driving victims to depression, family breakdowns, and even suicide. Note in particular the recent case of crypto bullion exchange, CBEX, a digital investment platform which lured millions of Nigerians with the promise of outrageous returns before suddenly collapsing and resulting in investors losing over 1.3 trillion and making it one of the most devastating financial scams in the country's history.
Ponzi, or whatever this is called, is just one out of the numerous online payments that we have. Many of our Gen Z of this world no longer go to the banks. They patronize all these online payment system. A lot of them. Ponzi is just one out of the numerous online payments, and hiding under the language, the fintech, that you go through the fintech, that you pay through the fintech, and you make this a pause. They call it pause. You just drop money there, the following money you get the money somewhere else. And they have taken advantage of us as a nation because the regulation is not there.
The joint committees on capital markets, banking, insurance, and
security and other financial institutions, anti-corruption and financial crimes, ICT cyber security, to conduct a comprehensive investigative hearing, including public hearings. Like I said, you don't have to do it in one location, on the operations of Ponzi schemes in Nigeria, educating the Nigerian public, educating the investing public, and then to report back to this Senate in 4 weeks. Those in support of the prayer as amended say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
And you are still watching BeeTv News Major News at 6. We'll be going on a short break and we'll be right back.
I am so happy for today because today hearing the judgment of the Supreme Court is double celebration for me. Double in the sense that my little girl, Sumi, graduation is today. And while we are preparing and waiting for the day, the judgment of the Supreme Court affirming the election of Senator Monday Okpebholo came. So that is why it is double celebration for me today. I want to thank the judiciary because they have actually proven they are the last hope of the common man. Because in this case, I've always said it, Edo State people are the common people. And these are the people that are standing behind Senator Monday Okpebholo. I also want to use this opportunity to thank all the lawyers, our lawyers for giving us the victory. I also want to thank Edo people who came out on that day to vote massively for Senator Monday Okpebholo. If not, we would not have been getting the kind of development that we're experiencing today. Anyway, I want to use this opportunity to thank everybody, Edo State people, the judiciary, and Nigerians. Thank you, and God bless you.
Welcome back. And moving to business world, where over 300 business leaders conveyed in Lagos at the 2025 Business Day CEO Forum, themed Nigeria from reform to recovery. The event brought together key economic decision makers, including Africa's industrialist Aliko Dangote, Finance Minister Wale Edun, and Tolaram Africa Executive Haresh Ashwani. BeeTv News Favor Kolawole has details on these and more from the business world.
The forum held at the Federal Palace Hotel focused on the implementation of economic reforms, the outlook for recovery, and the private sector's role in driving sustainable growth. Participants discussed macroeconomic strategy, capital deployment, industry expansion, infrastructure investments. Now in its 11th year, the Business Day CEO Forums remains a key platform for aligning private and public sector priorities to stimulate Nigeria's economic transformation. The year's edition emphasized transitioning from policy design to effective execution amid global and local economic headwinds. 4 listed Nigerian insurance companies, AXA Mansard Insurance PLC, Consolidated Hallmark Holding PLC, Linkage Assurance PLC, and Suno Insurance Nigerian PLC, have projected a combined after-tax profit of 14.1 billion naira for second quarter 2025, reflecting a 29.9% decline from 20.1 billion naira in second quarter 2024. The decline is attributed to foreign exchange losses recorded by the firms, reversing gains from the same period in 2024. In first quarter 2025, the 4 insurers reported a collective forex loss of 101 million naira, compared to a gain of 3.4 billion naira in first quarter 2024. AXA Mansard was the only exception, posting a forex gain of 2.3 billion naira. The Federal High Court in Lagos has issued an order freezing all bank accounts linked to Afex Commodity Exchange Limited across 60 banks over a 17.8 billion naira debt owed to Guarantee Trust Bank GT Bank. Justice Chukwuejoku Aneke issued the order on July 4, 2025, after an expert application filed by GT Bank legal team. The account barred the affected banks from tampering with a transferring funds from affected accounts. The banks were also directed to disclose all account details associated with affected BVNs within 7 days. GT Bank claims that Afex defaulted on the 9-month loan that matured on 22nd April 2021. As of April 17, 2024, the outstanding balance stood at 15.77 billion naira in principal and interest, with an additional 2.4 billion naira claimed in recovery and incidental costs. Nigeria's crude oil producers have invested a total of $8 billion in rich infrastructure between 2022 and 2025, resulting in an increase in oil rig 46 as of July 2025, according to data released by the Nigerian Upstream Regulatory Commission, NUPRC. The investment has financed the drilling and initial completion of 236 wellbores to total depth since 2022. The country's rig count rose from 8 in 2021 to 31st January 2025. Favor Kolawole reporting from BeeTv News.
And now moving to the global scenes, where an Israeli airstrike in Deir al-Balah, central Gaza, killed at least 15 Palestinians, including 8 children and 2 women, while they were waiting for nutritional aid near a medical facility, according to El Qassam Matters Hospital. Also, Brazil vows to match U.S. tariffs after Trump threatens 50% levy. Let's now join BeeTv News correspondent Harmony Agbafor, who has details on this and more from the global scenes.
An Israeli airstrike in Deir al-Balah, central Gaza, killed at least 15 Palestinians, including 8 children and 2 women, as they queued for nutritional aid near a medical point. According to Al Qassam Matters Hospital, Israel said it targeted a Hamas militant involved in the 7th October attack and is reviewing the incident, expressing regret over civilian casualties. Ceasefire talks in Doha, mediated by the US, Qatar and Egypt, remain stalled, with Hamas accusing Israel of inflexibility and Israel insisting on Hamas disarmament for a lasting truce. Over 57,000 Palestinians have been killed in Gaza since October 2023, and the humanitarian situation has collapsed, with mass displacement and severe shortages of essentials. Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva has vowed to impose retaliatory tariffs if the U.S. follows through on Donald Trump's threat to raise import taxes on Brazilian goods to 50% starting August 1st. Trump's move is tied to Brazil's prosecution of former President Jair Bolsonaro, which he called a witch hunt. Lula rejected Trump's criticisms, asserting Brazil's sovereignty and warning that any unilateral tariffs would be matched. He also challenged Trump's claim of a U.S. trade deficit, with Brazil citing U.S. data showing a $7.4 billion surplus in 2024. Analysts suggest Trump's intervention might politically benefit Lula at home, as defying Trump has done for other global leaders. President Trump hosted leaders from 5 African nations, Gabon, Guinea-Bissau, Liberia, Mauritania, and Senegal, for a summit focused on trade, not aid. Trump pushed for business deals over traditional U.S. assistance, while African leaders pitched investment opportunities in minerals, energy, and tech. Migration, security, and visa issues were also discussed. The summit reflects a shift in U.S.-Africa relations under Trump, moving from development aid to tough trade negotiations, with tariffs looming for non-compliant countries. Tunisian opposition leader Rached Ghannouchi has been sentenced to 14 years in prison for conspiring against state security, adding to previous convictions totaling over 20 years. His children and other former officials were also sentenced, many in absentia. Rights groups have condemned the trials as politically motivated, highlighting President Kais Saied's ongoing crackdown on critics since dissolving parliament in 2021. U.S. aid cuts, especially to PEPFAR, have led to the closure of many HIV clinics in South Africa, threatening access to life-saving antiretrovirals, ARVs, for thousands, particularly vulnerable groups like sex workers. Former sex worker Gugu, now an NGO coordinator, fears many may default on treatment due to stigma and long waits at public hospitals. Experts warn the funding cuts could reverse years of HIV progress, increase infection and death rates, and stall crucial research, including vaccine trials. Though some emergency funding has been secured, it falls far short of what's needed to sustain South Africa's leadership in HIV response and research. And that is all from the global scenes. For now, Harmony Agbafo reporting for BeeTv News.
And now moving to the sports world, where Nigeria's Super Eagles drops in the latest FIFA World Rankings, but remain ahead of rivals Ghana and South Africa in the continental standings. Despite this slip, the team maintains its status as one of Africa's football powerhouses, remaining ahead of arch rivals Ghana and South Africa in the continental pecking order. Let's now join our BeeTv News sports correspondent Freeman Osawe, who has details on this and more from the sporting world.
The new ranking sees Nigeria move from 43rd to 44th in the world, a slight setback following a period of mixed results, including their Unity Cup win in London under the new coach Eric Chell. However, the Super Eagles remain Africa's 5th-ranked team, trailing only Morocco 12th, Senegal 18th, Egypt 34th, and Algeria 36th. Ivory Coast, who recently overtook Nigeria, now sits just behind the Super Eagles on the continent after dropping 4 spots. Despite the drop, Nigeria continues to outperform Ghana and South Africa, who are ranked 76th and 56th respectively. Nigerians are furious with the NFF after reports emerged that the Super Falcons were left without training kit ahead of their international fixture, sparking outrage on social media. Nigerians have vehemently criticized the Nigerian Football Federation, NFF, over images showing that the Super Falcons trained without proper kits for their Women's Africa Cup of Nations WAFCON match against Botswana. The social media outcries intensified after pictures circulated showing the players in non-standard attire, as described by the fans, leading many to accuse the NFF of negligence. Inter Miami captain Lionel Messi continued his excellent form to help Inter Miami continue their post-Club World Cup winning run. Lionel Messi wrote his name in MLS history with 2 goals in Inter Miami's win over the New England Revolution at Gillette Stadium. The Argentine's first star strike made him the first player to score 2+ goals in 4 straight MLS regular season games. Inter Miami, fresh off 2 wins after their FIFA Club World Cup loss to PSG, now aim for a third against Nashville on Sunday. And that's it on Sport News. Freeman Osawe reporting for BeeTv News.
And that is the size of our news package for tonight. Many thanks for joining us on BeeTv Major News at 6. I remain God's Gift Omone. Have a good night.